When you start thinking about adding a CNC-Ready mill to a small workshop, the first thing that pops up is the fear of buying something that looks great on paper, but turns out to be a headache on the bench. I've spent a good chunk of the last few weeks watching videos, reading the official specs, and scrolling through the handful of owner forums where people talk about setting up Sherline machines. The goal here is simple: help you decide if the Sherline 2000A CNC-Ready Deluxe 8-direction mill package actually fits the way you work, and whether the price you pay translates into real, day-to-day value. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. First, a quick picture of the category. In the hobby machining world, a CNC-Ready mill usually means you get a base mill that's been pre-drilled, has the necessary stepper motor mounts, and comes with the electronics you need to turn it into a computer-controlled machine. The appeal is obvious. You skip the messy retrofit and you get a package that's supposed to work together out of the box. The downside, though, is that many kits still require a decent amount of wiring, software configuration, and a solid understanding of how the machine moves in each of its 8 axes. If you're not comfortable with that kind of setup, the whole thing can feel like buying a puzzle with half the pieces missing. Who should actually consider the Sherline 2000A? The sweet spot is the serious hobbyist or the small-scale prototyper who already has a basic grasp of CNC concepts and wants a compact platform that can handle both milling and light engraving. The package includes the mill base, a spindle, the 8-direction drive system, and the control electronics, which means you can go from a manual mill to a fully automated unit without buying each component separately. If you're a maker who needs to fabricate small aluminum brackets, prototype custom fixtures, or even carve wood in depth, the 8-direction capability gives you the freedom to rotate the workpiece and approach it from angles that a 3-axis machine can't reach. On the other side of the fence, skip this if you're looking for a plug-and-play solution that will run a full-size production run, or if you're still new to CNC and haven't yet built a basic 3-axis setup. The 8-direction system adds mechanical complexity: more gears, extra motor drivers, and a larger control board, so the learning curve is steeper than a straightforward XYZ mill. Also, the overall size of the package, while still modest compared to industrial machines, is larger than the entry-level Sherline 5400 series. If bench space is at a premium, you might find the footprint a bit demanding. Now let's talk about the practical strengths. The first thing I noticed in the demo videos is how the 8-direction head actually moves. Instead of a single rotary table, Sherline has integrated a double-axis tilting mechanism that lets you swing the spindle up to 45 degrees in 2 axes, then rotate it 360 degrees. That means you can machine a complex bevel on a small part without having to refixturing it multiple times. In a real-world scenario, imagine you're building a custom gearbox housing and you need a precise angled bore on the side of a tiny block. With a traditional 3-axis mill, you'd have to make a jig, clamp, reorient, and hope the alignment stays perfect. With the 8-direction head, you just dial in the angle and let the controller do the rest. Fewer setups, fewer errors. Another strength is the integration of the electronics. The kit comes with a dedicated controller that's designed to talk to the Sherline stepper drivers directly, and the wiring harnesses are pre-terminated. In practice, this saves you a lot of time that would otherwise be spent hunting down the right connectors and figuring out pinouts. The software side is also fairly user-friendly. Sherline supplies a basic CM interface that can generate the code you need for simple parts. If you already use a more advanced CM package, you can import the code without any special conversion, which is a nice flexibility point. Where the package shows its hidden trade-offs is in the rigidity and the spindle power. The mill body is made from the same cast iron construction you see on larger Sherline models. But because the 8-direction head adds extra moving mass, you can feel a slight wobble when you command rapid movements on the tilt axis. For light work plastic, soft aluminum, wood, that's barely noticeable. If you try to push it into harder material at higher feed rates, the vibration can start to affect surface finish. The spindle that comes with the kit is a 0.5 horsepower unit, which is adequate for the intended material range, but it won't cut through thick steel like a dedicated industrial spindle would. In short, the machine is built for precision on small parts, not for brute force material removal. A practical concern that often flies under the radar is the cooling and dust extraction setup. The mill itself doesn't include a built-in chip guard or misting system, so you'll need to add your own shop vac or a small mist coolant line if you plan to run on aluminum or